Hey guys, welcome back to another hobby hump here with my man John. How you doing, John?
I'm good, James. How are you?
I'm good, a little exhausted from work. Came racing home to try to get one in, being that we missed a few weeks. Busy with life.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
need
you,
to get back on track.
I know, right? You were in Tampa and you've been traveling the world lately.
Not too many places.
And you had a major pickup recently in Tampa, right?
No, I didn't get any cards in Tampa. We didn't even go to the show.
No? Oh
No, I
man.
mean I got gifts, but yeah, we didn't go to the Tampa show.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
was actually in St. Pete's. It wasn't in Tampa.
Okay, okay.
I think it was St. Pete's.
I was a little bummed out because 2 weekends ago I was supposed to be in Arizona with George, but the person I was driving down to Arizona with had health complications the night prior.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, he was hospitalized, and that put a whole kibosh on the whole, show and the trip and hanging out with George. So I was bummed out. I
Have
really
you
was.
have you done any shows lately?
I did one last weekend, and I'm actually rifling through a stack of cards I got there. Some nice
Get
pick.
anything good?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I sent you a text on this, the first ever issue of Sports Illustrated, which I was so excited to trade for. I traded a rookie score Barry Sanders card for this and some cash. So he knew that this in the condition it wasn't the same value as the Sanders, so he threw in $40, and I was like, done deal. Because
Did
I
you
was
uh did you look through there and see the cards?
yeah, I
It's
what
pretty
I
cool.
thought that was pretty cool was had an article on Rocky Marciano, which you'll probably like if I could
Heck
find it.
yeah.
So look at Rocky Marciano just pounding away at. Let me see who is that. If it says it real quick, can Charles sagged. It just says Charles. I don't know what Charles that is, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm excited to go through this eventually.
what was that one Charles? There was a Charles Lazard or Lazard.
Lazard, yes, that
Is
was
that
it.
him?
Yeah, it must have been Charles Lazard. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm excited to. I haven't had time to go through this, but
Have
yeah,
you
I'm
seen the second issue?
no.
The second issue has the 54 Mickey Mantle in it.
Does it?
Yeah, so those have reprints of cards and they're paper,
Okay,
a fold out, which is awesome. But in the second one, they added some other players that weren't in the 54 top set, and they put
okay.
those in black and white, and one of them is a Mickey Mantle.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So there
that.
is a Mickey Mantle 54 tops, kind of, kind
Like a
of.
reprint, not even a
Yeah,
re.
well, it's not a reprint; it's an original because he didn't have a card, but
Right,
it's paper. It's
right.
paper, but you could cut those out, and I had some laying around here. Hold on. Oh, here they are. Yeah, somebody sent me some. My man at Rocks Cousteau had sent me some, so that's what they look like.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
they're the same. They're just very white. Much more white. But these came in a fold out sheet, so you cut them out.
I didn't even know there were cards in there. I didn't look through there, but I did see there was a little tab still in there. So I've got to pay attention and see if there's a card in there.
Oh yeah, there's a sheet of them. Like I said,
Yeah,
they fold. There's
yeah, I didn't pay attention. I didn't know. Let me show you something else I picked up that was very different and unique, being that we were on the
Wait a
bumps.
second. So you bought that magazine and didn't even know there are cards in there?
Yeah, no, because I didn't know
Ah,
anything about
okay.
the first ever Sports Illustrated. All I knew was Eddie Matthew was on the cover, so he graced the cover. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else.
Oh, okay.
So then I bought this from an old timer. he told me this is a toy from the 1930s, and this is Joe Louis fighting Max Schmeling.
Oh,
And
awesome.
I think it's the first ever Rock'em Sock'em.
Oh man, love
So
that stuff.
basically, you basically swing their arms, and I guess you try to fight, but I'm scared to handle this too much because it could break. It looks so.
Right, right. Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome. I never saw that before.
yeah, it's two of them. I tried looking them up, but I can't find anything on it. Like it must be such an obscure, rare item.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know if you would sell that in the toy market or the sports market.
I mean, it's
It
boxed,
it's a hybrid.
and it's two of them, so I get to keep one of them, or I don't know if it's for me. But I just thought it was too cool to pass up.
Yeah, I love finding that old obscure stuff you never like I never saw before.
Of course, picked up a Gaudi Premium here, Billy Herman.
Oh, nice. He doesn't have a whole lot of cards either.
I know that's why I had to have it because he doesn't have too many cards. But yeah, I
I
got
have I have
it.
a pretty big card for me on the way. It's one of my dream cards.
Yeah, I am trying to help Lou get his card, but it's stuck in the system right now. It's off to get graded, and they are taking their sweet time. They are backed up over there at SGC.
Oh, SGC's backed up?
Yeah, because PSA is so backed up that everyone started grading with SGC so that they could get their, stuff graded a lot quicker than with PSA. So now SGC got their backlog,
It's
and they,
amazing the number of cards being graded these days, man. Just insane.
yeah. So usually it was 2 weeks. People were getting their submission back, and it's been almost 3 weeks now, and it hasn't even gotten to the grading stage yet.
Oh, wow. It's
Yeah.
COVID all over again.
I hope not. Don't be saying that, man. That'll
Well,
be
without the COVID part.
so. How you enjoying the first week of baseball?
Not so much, man. These Pirates, they may be the worst team since the 1952 Pirates, but they won today. Paul Skeens had another good outing, and they finally got some hits for him and some runs for him. And O'Neill Cruz finally hit a home run. So yeah, I don't know. They don't look too good, man. They don't look too good.
O'Neill is
if
looking.
if Jack Sawinski gets a hit, it'll be the first time. The next time he gets a hit will be the first time.
Yeah,
I
but
think he
O'Neill
struck out.
Cruz is good though.
He's good, but he didn't get off to necessarily a good start.
But he's been on lately. He stole, I think, 2 bases so far, and
Oh yeah, he's stealing, but we'll see. He'll develop. He's a really talented player, but they have him in center field, and he's not a center fielder. He came up as a shortstop, and it was the end of the game. It was the bottom of the ninth, and a dude hit a ball to the wall, and he's like 6'7", dude, and he runs. He's like jogging back to the wall, and he played the ball off the wall. Now, I don't know if he could have caught it or not. I'm not there, but it sure looked like he had a chance to catch the ball. And it's
mm,
the bottom of the ninth, and if it hits the wall, we lose. So what do you have to lose? Like if you don't catch that ball, game over.
right,
And I felt like he was lollygagging on it, and I think he could have caught the ball. It looked to me like he could, but at least try.
right. Maybe it was hit with a torpedo bat, and that's why he couldn't get to it.
I don't know. We'll see how he develops in center.
So, what do you think about these torpedo bats? It's the big thing everyone's talking about.
I know. We'll see. Do you think baseball will MLB will come in and ban them or something? I guess they're used in college, right? I think they've been being used in other leagues, for a long time. The aluminum bats. I don't know. My question is, if somebody should break a home run record, will they be like Barry Bonds? Will there be an asterisk next to them because they have the advantage of these bats?
I don't think
And are
so.
they that much better?
Well, I mean, they're tailored to the batter and where he's meeting the ball. So that's got to help whoever likes it. But Bellinger, when they interviewed him, he says the Cubs were trying to implement these last year, but I just didn't like the way they felt. They felt weird. And then eventually, because the Yankees hired the MIT guy that invented them, he was special fitting all these bats to each player based on their swing. And they would try several models until they liked one that, and that's how they started using it. But not everyone's using it. And but now a lot of people are starting to put orders in because they saw that output the Yankees had this weekend.
Yeah, and was it due to the bat? We don't know yet. Let's see, like if there are a lot more home runs hit this year versus prior years. Let's see how that all pans out. They might have just had hit those home runs anyway with any bat.
But do you think this will overall, like if it becomes a norm, right?
Yeah,
And now almost 50% of all the hitters are using it because not everyone needs it. Like Aaron Judge says, do you think I even need that bat? Like
yeah.
I'm good. But if it becomes the norm and averages pick up, like instead of the average of 250, now the league is hitting 270, where it becomes almost normal to like yesteryear. But home runs, I believe, is going to go up like another 10 home runs average a year. Like, would we honor people for home run outputs afterwards?
Yeah, that's the question. We have to see what happens. If the power numbers really go up, it'll kind of be a shame because it will change the dynamic with history and records.
Right.
If those power numbers go up because of the bat, I think it's probably what happened in golf when they came out with new technology and these drivers were killing the ball and they came out with the Pro V1 and it was going a country mile. And that just became the norm. Now that's fair when you're playing against other players that have that. I'm always concerned, maybe overly concerned with the historical numbers and the historical perspective. Will records just start to fall? I mean, if the bat is that much better, I guess it could happen. Because like I always talk about the NFL, you know, the rules and everything just through historical records, numbers out the window, right? Play more games, open up the passing game, all that stuff. So baseball, that's the one thing we always had to compare our stats, and it stayed pretty much the same, other than the oven mitts and the big bases now.
Right, right.
All these stolen bases you're seeing. I mean, that's clearly because of the rule changes.
I mean, it's just part of like evolving. Like we saw Tampa did the shift, and then everyone else implemented it. Then they got so out of control. Averages came down so bad that they had to like almost like shift the shift and not let people go past the second base bag. But I think everything is always evolving, and this game evolved already with the launch angle. So we're not seeing what the game was, what we grew up watching. So it is what it is, you
Yeah,
know.
but launch angle is just an analysis,
But
right? I mean, it's
everyone was
not
being
change.
groomed. But everyone was being groomed since the minors to hit with the
Yeah,
launch angle. So it's like no one had an even cut anymore. Everyone had to have that uppercut swing, or else they just weren't going to be called
but
up.
the way I look at it, though, it's just it's the new way the game is played. If you go back to the early 1900s, they scuffed the ball. You had hit for average. The ballparks were bigger. You could hit more doubles, more triples, less home runs, almost no home runs. It was a different game. So you're not going to compare Ty Cobb's home runs with Babe Ruth's home runs, yeah, or anybody today. So
Right.
the game has changed over time, and those of us who know the history of it, we appreciate a guy like Home Run Baker, even though he never hit more than 13 in a season. Leading the league in home runs for 4 years and hitting as many as he did was a lot back then. So it's not a lot historically,
Right.
It's not a
And
lot now, but at the time they played the game. And then there were some records set that will never be broken because of that time period.
right, like Sam
Like
Crawford.
Deacon Philippi pitching 5 complete games of a World Series. Uh, Owen Wilson, Chief Wilson, having 36 triples in a single season. Sam Crawford's single season triple doubles record. No. All time triples record,
Mm,
and Tris Speaker's all time doubles record. So stuff like that. It's just never going to be broken.
right, right,
And we're never probably going to see a 300 game winner again. It's just the new game, right?
right.
Everybody's a relief pitcher at this point, technically. You have a starter for 5 or 6, and then you have 5 more relief pitchers by the time the game's over.
Now that we're talking about records, I forgot I had a pickup that came in last week. I got to show you.
All right, I'm excited. What do you guys think James has?
This is gonna thrill you. Now I'm just gonna throw it up and mention a name and see if you know what his record is. It's Hugh Nichols.
Hugh Nichols.
Yeah.
You stumped me. I don't know what record he holds.
All-time base steals record of 138 in a season.
Ah.
And he did that in the dead ball era. Hugh Nichols. So I wanted this card for a long time and it never would come up. And it finally came up on eBay. Man, I put in whatever it took to get this thing.
Darn you! You have another guy I need to chase.
What? You didn't know
so he was a better. What was his name?
Hugh
Nichols. Hugh Nichols. So he was a better base stealer than Billy Hamilton.
No, not. He did it for like 3 or 4 years. Billy Hamilton did it for like 7 years, where he like ruled the league. But he has the all-time for the season, which is 138. Hamilton was probably one of the best ones up there with the Flying Dutchman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has the all-time season record, which is something to be said for that. Ricky has it for the modern era, 130, but he has it all-time, 138.
Yeah. It's like Hugh Jennings.
Yeah. Hugh Jennings was wait, no, I thought it was Hugh Duffy.
Hugh Duffy. I knew I was drawing a blank there. I don't know why Jennings is coming. Hugh Duffy with the single season batting average.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I got another one which is cool. I know you know this one. Fred Merkle.
Merkle's boner.
Yes.
He got a bad rap on that. That's just the way the game was played. That rule was never enforced. He got a bad rap for that and pretty much tortured for the rest of his career.
Exactly. When I picked this up, I already knew who Fred Merkle was, but it came up to me. A guy
I compare that to like the tuck rule. Nobody knew the tuck rule, and it was implemented at the most inopportune moment for the Raiders. Right, the Raiders had that game won in the snow, and that happens. And I remember watching that, going, "What the heck is going on?" That was clearly a fumble. But they always called it a fumble, but that one instance they didn't, and it changed things forever. And that's how Merkle's boner was. They never called that. Everybody just ran off the field. That's just the way it was.
Yep. And then they said that they threw the ball into the stands.
Yes.
So how the hell did they even retrieve that ball?
Well, yeah, Mordecai Brown had to go fetch it and throw it to Johnny Evers.
Right. But they're saying there's no chance it was the same ball. Like they just grabbed the ball from the dugout and acted like they got it from the stands.
Yeah,
so
who even knows?
Not even have counted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I stand up for him. I think he got a bum rap. It's like Bill Buckner. I think he got a bad rap.
Right.
Because he was a good player, and he had that error in an inopportune time, but it was not to win the game. I mean, it didn't lose the game. Right? They went on who was the other team?
It was the sixth game, and they still could play the seventh game and win against the
But
Mets.
they gave up a bunch of runs to them in that game and then lost the next game. So, it's just it's kind of sad when a really good player does, makes an error or something in a big game. Like Jackie Smith was a really good tight end, a shorthanded tight end, but he dropped that ball in the Super Bowl against my Steelers, and that's what he's known for. And it's just a shame that
How about
can come down to one play.
yeah? How about the Cubs with the play with Moises Alou
Yeah,
and like there was so many other plays which
yeah,
alluded to losing that game, but Bartman is the one that goes down as the GOAT.
I know. And they scored how many runs after that?
It was like
They could
six
have,
runs.
yeah. So I always say like you gotta in sports. Now we have replays and you can challenge things these days, but you can't. There's always a chance you're going to get a bad call, a pass interference call, or whatever, and so you got to win the game. If you get a bad call or something doesn't go your way, you got to play the rest of the game. You can't give up 7 more runs and then blame that one play.
Right, right. I just man, but for Merkel, I can't believe he goes down as Merkel's boner. Like nobody else had a nickname that followed them.
Well,
Like
in all fairness, the nickname Boner, uh, a new connotation came for that later on in life, right? It's like they used to call the deaf players dummy, and that
right,
wasn't an insult. That didn't become like an insult until like I believe around 1924-ish. In the 1920s, they started using it derogatorily towards people. So when they were calling them dummy, it wasn't a derogatory term.
right,
When we collect these old players and we look back on the game, it's important to put historical perspective. You can't get triggered by everything because times were just different. You know, that wasn't an inappropriate thing at the time. It wasn't a derogatory word.
right, right,
You
right.
know,
Well, I mean, aside from the torpedo gate, which they're calling now, I mean, it's been interesting so far within 1 week. One of the storylines is Andres Jimenez playing out of his mind the first week. They don't know how Cleveland let that man go.
it
He's
happens.
yeah, it's just he's just on fire. There's a lot of cool little storylines. I'm just excited the season started again, though, man. I don't know. I was clamoring for some good baseball.
Yeah, yeah. It's been fun to watch some games again.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's springtime yet for me, though. It feels like it's still winter leaving. Like I don't know. It just feels like the season just came on us like so fast all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's been a long, cold winter, even here in the South. This is one of the worst winters since I've been down here. I mean, the
Yeah,
last 3 years, our summer basically started at the beginning of February, and it just started to get nice like a day or two ago. We'd have a nice day here or there, but then it get cold again.
right, right. Well, let me show you a few more pickups here. Let's see what you might find interesting. Picked up some modern and some. Well, here's one for you. Let me make it big here. Your boy Paul Skeens autographed to 99.
Nice. Is it a 10? 10-10?
No, it's a
I'm only
9.
interested in 10-10s.
It's a 9. I
Oh
got
man,
Gunnar Henderson.
that card must be beaten up. And a 9.
This one's a 10. Let's see what else I got here. I picked up a few modern cards that were like Dylan approved centered.
That
So
doesn't look like a modern card.
no, I mean vintage card. Did I say modern?
I
Sorry.
love that. I love that 64 Ernie Banks. I got one in as a kid, and I got that Bob Gibson as a kid too. So that's
Yeah,
my. I love that card.
I got
Do I
Fernando.
have those names right? I can't see that well.
Well, yeah, it was Bob Gibson and Ernie Banks.
Okay, all right. Want to make sure. I just I could tell the look of them.
Let me show you somebody that you're a big fan of, Fernando Tatis, number to 15 there. You still a Fernando Tatis fan?
It's not that I ever had a problem with them. I told you guys over and over and over they needed to move him away from shortstop. He couldn't make that throw accurately. I mean, he led the league every year in errors, and they were all throwing errors. It wasn't he was a bad fielder. And look at him; they finally moved him to the outfield, and he won a Gold Glove. I thought they should move him to second myself, and give him a nice short throw. You know?
He's playing well this year so far. Within the first week, he's killing it,
Yeah,
man.
he's a talented player. I just thought he was. I thought he shouldn't be at short. That's all.
Of
He
course,
made
yeah.
too many errors. Just like I don't think O'Neal Cruz should be in center.
Another one, yeah. Let me finish a little parade here. I got a nice Jackie there.
Beautiful. I got that as a kid too.
My God, you got every damn card as a kid. Is Riley Green for Detroit, who's playing pretty well to start the season out of 50.
Let's auction those off tonight.
What? A nice Ted Williams.
I got that as a kid too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got the Jackie and the Ted Williams.
You're killing me.
I was probably in grade school or junior high when I got those. And I'll tell you what, I paid a lot less than they go for now. I got that one as a kid too. That was my first Stan Musial card. Still my favorite Stan Musial too. I love that card.
Me. Here's some more. A nice Hank Aaron you got as a kid, probably.
I didn't get that one as a kid. I got it later on. It's not a 10 though. I think it's a 7.5.
Here's a beautifully centered Eddie Matthews in a 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was around 19 or 20 when I got that one.
Did you?
Yeah, my local card shop had that and the Warren Spawn. I remember getting them both from them.
Here's one I'm gonna get graded. It looks sharp, like all the way around, nicely centered.
Man, it took me till about 2003 or 4 to get that baby.
Here's one that should do you proud. Got me a Willie Stargell Pops.
Nice.
This one's razor sharp, but as you could tell, this one would not go past Dylan's standards.
A few 63s would.
Ernie Banks.
I had that one as a kid.
You're killing me.
No, I think I got that one later. I think I got the Banks later.
Here's a few autographs. Got me Reggie with the pinstripes.
Oh, nice.
This is going to be a PC item there with the pinstripes. I was all over that one.
Yeah, I don't know why, but the pinstripes are so cool. They're so fun to have.
They are fun. A Barry Larkin autograph. Didn't have one of those.
Solid player right there.
And thanks to him, we got Derek Jeter because he had an MVP year and they didn't draft Derek Jeter because of that. Hammer and Hank.
That's one of my all-time favorite cards.
Is it?
And it is. Number one, the first time I saw that card was on the Heart to Heart episode. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see that episode?
Yeah.
It was in 1982, and a guy that worked for him passed away unexpectedly, and wasn't good with his money management and didn't have any insurance and left his wife and his son nothing, except he left his son a suitcase full of baseball cards. And I saw that card in that episode, and I fell in love with it. And then I saw it, in magazines like Baseball Cards magazine. And that's just always been dear to my heart, that card. I love it. I have I have both versions.
Well, I'm going to show you one that I fell in love with. And I picked this up. Ernie Banks rookie in a 4.
Fantastic.
Nicely centered, but it's an old flip. So you'll notice this would not get a 4 today. The corners are loved, but not like a 3, but more like a 3.5 maybe.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I have an SGC 3.5, and it's perfectly centered. And that card's so hard. The 54s, it drives me crazy when the name is right at the top edge.
Right,
Uh, I could probably deal with the little off center the other way, but uh, there's so many that are miscut. Sometimes it's right, it's even a little into the name. But
right. But that one has a nice chunk of space there. It's
yeah, and
nicely.
then there's of course registration, a lot of snowing with those.
Yeah.
So I I'm not that picky with my cards. I just want a nice looking example.
Hmm.
But certain things like cutting off the name, that's a little bothersome if I'm gonna shell out money for a nice card.
Right. Here's one that has centering issues.
Love
The
that card.
This is a beautiful five, standout five.
Yeah, I have one from my childhood that's real nice. It's real nice, centered, everything. Um, but I found one for sale and it was cheap. Graded like I think it was a 6.5 and really sharp card. So I had to buy that. So I have two.
Yeah, when you
If
find a
I see a
center,
really sharp card for a cheap price, I buy it, even if I have
you just can't let someone else have it. You just feel
it.
like you have to have it. It's mine, mine, mine.
Well, I'll go through this thing where I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna buy this. This is a great deal. If it's nicer than mine when I get it, I'll sell mine. And then what happens is I never sell mine, so I end up with doubles.
Well, that's an interesting thing for you to say. I gotta ask you a follow up. So I know you do this because I know, I've known you long enough to know what the answer is. But what compels you to pick up doubles, triples, quadruples when you see one in the wild that it's so hard to find it registered or centered or, you know, what compels you to have to like pick it up? Like, what is it?
It's just such a nice example. And if it's nicer than mine, then that's kind of an easy decision. Sometimes, not always. I mean, if it's a real expensive card, that's I'm not going to do it. But some of these cards, they sell for so little. And I have certain cards that are just I just love them. Like the 75 Lynn Swan rookie. He was my favorite player growing up. I have multiple copies. The 73 Clemente. Any Clemente I have lots of doubles of Clemente and I have a hard time getting rid of any because he's my guy. Stargell. Um, and just some of my favorite cards. Like if I have two, uh, and sometimes it's like they're both nice in their own way. They're not tens, so they're different. Because there's no such thing as doubles of vintage cards. They all look different, and I'll have two that look different, and I love them both. So I wouldn't know which one to get rid of because I don't do it by grade. I used to do that, and I regretted it because the higher grades looked like crap, and the lower grades looked better, and I'd sell the lower grade and keep the higher grade that looked worse. So, I regretted that so many times. So now I just keep the one I like better. I don't care what the number is on it.
The one thing that kills me is sometimes I'll pick up two cards, right? And one will be off centered in a way where the corners look sharp, but it's off centered. And
Mm.
you wish it was centered. But then you'll have another one that's a lower copy. That one is centered, but then the corners, you wish they were as sharp as the other one.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to that, like you have two together, they're a perfect card. Neither are perfect, and you can't pick out which one you like better. Because
Right.
if I have a card that's not centered, but man, it's just like razor sharp corners and it's pack fresh, then I still want that one. Over it's centered but has other surface issues or whatever, and I can't ever pick which one because I love them both.
It's the same for me. I
I
feel
guess
like they
people that I guess people that pay 50, 100,000, 150,000 for their cards don't have this problem. They just buy a 10.
dude, my friend Bill, he bought Eddie Matthews rookie, got it graded, it got a 7. And the thing looks like 52-48 centering. Like you're nitpicking when you say it's off center. Like it
Yeah,
looks centered enough,
yeah.
but my God, like, are we really? It's like finding that female that looks beautiful, but she has a, some. You gotta find the flaw,
Yeah,
and
my cards don't have to be perfect. I like them. I like them to have some character sometimes. You
I'm
know?
telling you. So
They
Bill
they're
tells me,
I have so many cards that they just look perfect to me, and they're not perfect. I don't mean they look perfect, they should get a 10. I mean, they look perfect to me, the way they
yeah,
look. And they might be a 3 or a 2. Some of those old vintage, I have a 1.5 Honus Wagner. I can't find a thing wrong with it other than the corners aren't perfectly sharp, but it's from 1909. Like, of course they're not. Um, but it just looks so clean. There's no creases, nothing. I don't even know
right,
how it got that great. And I have a lot of cards like that. I have
right,
a 55 Ted Williams. It's like a 2.5, and again, I can't find anything wrong with it. There's got to be some little, and sometimes you can't see through the slab. Sometimes those little, like, they'll have like a little bump in the
yeah,
cardboard, which is very
dimple,
common for tops. I don't know if that could bring it down to a 2.5 or something along those lines. Because if I can't see any paper lines, I don't see any creases. I don't know what they're looking at.
right. So, well, I guess to continue with telling you with the bill, he says he sent it off to REA. REA had a buyer, a private buyer, so they didn't like put it in the auction or anything. And when they sent it to the buyer, they agreed on the price. They sent it to the buyer, and the buyer was like not centered enough for me. And so he reneged
Really?
on the deal. And mind you, this card costed like $160,000.
Oh man, Dylan brainwashed them.
I'm pretty sure he was watching some Double D episodes or something, and it said it's not good enough. So meanwhile, I don't know exactly how much the guy agreed to pay for it, but from what Bill told me, he says, "Well, since you got the card already, just put it up," and it sold for more than what the guy and him agreed
Oh, that's
upon.
good.
So it worked out for Bill in the end, but it just goes to show a 7 in an Eddie Matthews that is like nearly centered. Even people with big money, to them, it's like, not good enough.
Well, it would be great for you and me.
It'll be a dream card for.
I'd take it. That's a card I don't have. It's always been so pricey,
Oh, it's
and
not.
I don't know. Will he even be hobby relevant in a couple years? Like, it might be $100 card.
It's been climbing in value. Like I'm,
The funny
I'm
thing is his other cards don't command much money. Just that one.
I was having a conversation with someone at the last show who was looking for Jackie Robinson's, right? And I showed him like two that I had in my case. And he was like, "No, but I'm looking for his rookie." And I was just like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's just the leaf is like the one that just costs so much." I was like, "Yeah, that and the 52." And he was like, "Yeah, why is that?" I was like, "Because it's the 52. Like anything in the 52 is just going to cost you. Look at Roy Campanella. His rookie doesn't touch what a 52 goes
Yeah.
for, you know?"
Well,
And
I think a lot of people build that set.
yeah,
And
a
the
lot of
52s, I mean, they're tough to find in nice condition.
they are. They are. I keep having that challenge with a lot of the cards. I just accept 60/40 and call it a day because I'm not going to stay 3 years looking for a card.
Yeah, it's tough. I was shopping for a Yogi Berra. I wanted to add that. I love that card, and I found one at a show. I was visiting my brother-in-law and in Northern Virginia, and there happened to be a show that weekend. So I went over. My wife was with me. We filmed it. You may have seen it, or you probably don't watch my videos, but um, anyway, it was a little off center, top to bottom, but the registration was beautiful. The corners were nice. It was like a 4.5 or something. But if you shop for that card, it's tough to find a centered one, like perfectly centered.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad, most of them, and most of the ones I see have registration issues. And I'd
Yeah.
rather have an off-center one than one with snow all over the face or crease through there or something like that. I don't mind creases. I don't mind them at all. Like on a corner or something, out of the way, or it doesn't affect the look of the card. I'm not one of those, I'm crease phobic. I don't mind creases at all. Just depends on how it presents, right? I don't want
Right.
it bent in half or coming through his face or through a key part of the card that, every time you look at it, that's what you notice. But a little wear on a corner or something, no
Right.
issue with me.
Yeah. Orlando's asking in the chats, how's my 52 set coming along? I'm 67% done with the set. So that's almost 2/3. Is it? It's yeah, it's already over 2/3. 2/3 will be 66%. So I'm 67%.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm shocked that I've gotten this far. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
keep chipping away. It helps that I do shows. I set up at shows, so there'll be times that I'll set up and it'll be 15 minutes before they open. And I go running to all the vintage dealers. You got 52s, you got 52s, you got 52s. And then I rummage through their stuff real quick. And then I'll always find one or two that suit my eye appeal or the price they're asking, because it has to be both. And I'm always checking off one or two names like almost every show. So that helps.
What are you going to do? What's your plans for the big cards you don't have? You saving those for the end?
No, I mean, that's why trading happens. Like
Yeah.
literally, like I'll take one I'm not in love with anymore in my collection that's worth maybe a grand or two, and I'll knock off a big name, the Hoyt Wilhelm rookie or Roy Campanella, and I just won't come out of pocket. Or I'll save up, enough money because my budget is bigger now because I don't buy every week like cards like I used to. So it's suddenly I'm starting to notice because I'm not buying so often, so frequently, that I can check off a $200-300 card, like with my autographs, or like I went a little deep on my autographs recently. I bought about 15 autographs and I checked off a few that were pretty cool.
You were
But
really on an auto run there for a while, man. You were picking up all kind of bangers.
yeah, I mean that and the 52 set, that's my thing, and the 2011 set, checking off all the variations that
Now, why the 2011 set? What made you want to collect that one?
the I think the rookie class is like one like that we haven't seen in a while, with Trout, Altuve, Freeman, Chapman, Goldschmidt, like you name it. There's probably like 10 guys in that class. Even DJ LeMahieu, they were players that were like that carved out a niche for a while.
Yeah.
You
Who's that other? There's another. Oh man, why is his name escaping me? He came up with. He played with Boston. Um, I
You're
could
talking
picture his.
about JD Martinez?
Yes, JD Martinez. Thank you.
He was a
I could
big,
picture his card. He's in
yeah,
that set too.
he was a star, maybe almost a Hall of Famer. But it wasn't just that. It was one of the sets that started the parallels, like that were cool, because like those diamonds and the cognacs, they just keep your attention. And then you got the Hope diamond, which is out of 60. And you know what it was? It was the inserts. So I didn't know the inserts were as deep as they went. I pulled a well, I gained a collection that had a Jackie Robinson uniform relic in there out of 99. And I was like, holy crap, what is this doing in there? But the guy happened to have ripped like maybe 2 or 3 boxes, hobby boxes of 2011, and he scored that. So when I saw that, I didn't know that was part of the set. So I started deep diving and finding out what else was in there, and my mind was blown. Short print galore, autographs up the wazoo. I went, oh my God, this set just keeps on giving. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to put this thing together with including inserts and short prints and all this and that. And I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I was just doing it for myself and doing it for fun and finding out how many short prints I could find out there. And the deeper I went, the more fun it got. It was just, man.
It's fun. It's fun to do that. I'll pick a set every once in a while, and I'll just try to get as many parallels as I can, or inserts, or uh, it's fun. It's fun. But with the modern sets, you're never going to complete everything, so
Yeah,
you
no,
kind of have to pick. I just try to get the big players and as many as I can get until I get bored with it or whatever. I'm not trying to get every single one.
there's one thing about that set that's eluding me, and they have a one of one, but they have two types. Well, actually, three types. They have the canary, which is the yellow diamond one. That's a one of one. Then they have one that has a diamond embedded in it. That's a one of one. And you had to send in for it and you would get it. And then they have another one that comes from their vault that has like a sticker on the back or something. And that one, I'm like, I don't know about that one. But man, do I want the diamond embedded one of one.
That'd be cool.
Like, oh, they always go for a lot of money, like 2 or 250 for like a common player or something.
Yeah.
And that one keeps eluding me because I refuse to spend like $250 for like a no-name guy just because it has a diamond in it.
And do they have all the players with that in it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Every player has a diamond one?
yeah.
Wow.
I had
Imagine
a
completing that one. All one-on-ones, the whole set.
I just want one. I just want one. I'm trying to get every card in the set a variation type. That's it. So it doesn't matter. It's like a little bit of a Frankenstein, but
Yeah.
as long as it's a parallel, like I guess it's consistent. But some of them are blue hopes, some of them are the black out of 60, and it's just I don't know. I don't care. It's just
But
fun.
that sounds fun. I put collecting the 2012 Prism. That was the baseball's first Prism, and they had box toppers with Mike Trout, and they had some good rookies in there. There was a Garrett Cole prospect. Yu Darvish has a rookie card in there. My man Sterling Marte, and of course 2012 Mike Trout. I think there's some others, but that too, you can get into different variations and all kind of inserts, and it's just fun to pick one and just try to build something special.
Right. I mean, that's the only one that really got me. Like, it's the 52. I like the 67. That one I liked because I don't know why I like that set so much. I just like that set. It's just a classic looking set. It's not too much, not too little. It's challenging. It has the pinups, which is like an insert. Like, it's just a deep set. And then the 2011, like, I like the Donruss, the 84 Donruss set, but I never chased.
Those are beautiful cards.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. It speaks to me. But yeah, the 2011 is the one in the modern era that spoke to me. And I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to.
Well, I try to complete sets from like 1912 on. I'm in distance of like the T205. I have most of the big cards. I need some of the variants. I need the Eddie Collins open mouth and Bobby Wallace ears showing, and the Eddie Joss is the big one I need. But I could complete that. I could complete the DeLong. I only need a few cards for the DeLong set. We're on the Tattoo Orbit, the Diamond Stars.
That DeLong.
I mean, from 54 on, I have near or complete sets. From 54 to 80 through 84.
Well, the DeLong, how close are you to completing that one? Because that one's
I have to checklist it, but it's not a very big set.
right.
And I have there's really only two big cards I need yet. I have all the others. I need the Charlie Gehringer and I need the Chuck Klein. They're very doable. I mean, they're not cheap, but $300-400 will get it done.
Is there a condition you're putting them together in? A condition?
No, I buy all my cards based on looks. I don't care what number's on it.
No, but I mean, VG-ish, is that the condition that they're in, or
Well,
good?
dude, you're not going to find those cards in nines or eights or sevens. I mean, you're not. If you find one in a seven, it'll probably go for $200,000. So
Yeah, but VG is like a 3.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like a 2
I mean,
range.
I have mostly like my Gehrig's a two. Um, my Jimmy Fox is like a 3.5. My I think my Lefty Grove's a 3.5, right in there.
Yeah. Stu Scott is asking, what is your oldest complete set?
Me,
Yeah,
absolutely complete.
if there is.
I have all near sets. Like I work on them all at the same time, so I really haven't completed any old sets. I'm very far along with the T207. I'm pretty far along with that. Um, I need a big card, but I'm talking to somebody. I think I'm going to pick that up here soon. But the oldest complete set I have, I don't know because I don't checklist them. So, like 54, I need the checklist. 56, man, I got a lot of those. I'm very close to 56. I'm very close to 57, 59, 58, 60, 61, 62, 63. I'm very close, like with all of them, but I haven't checklisted them, so I don't
So
know.
for the pre-war era, what do you go to, trading
I,
card?
I think I think that I think I have a complete set for 65. I believe I do. That may be the oldest that I have an absolute complete set for him.
That's a good set.
Yeah, with the little pennant.
That's probably one of my favorites. 67 and 65 are probably neck and neck for 60s.
I
Yeah.
love them all. I was watching for collectors. They were ranking, them from the '60s. They were talking all kind of smack on the '61 set. I love them all. I love them
Yeah.
all. I mean, in the modern era where we have so many choices and there's so many cards and your dollars only go so far, uh, you know, most people don't do set collecting anymore. So they just pick the cards they like, or they just collect the rookie cards or whatever. And so I can understand you're going for, the years, the sets that you like, but uh, baseball cards, that's how they came. That was the history of them. When I was growing up, you bought packs, you got them. That's the way they made them. That was the design. Every year people critique the design of the new tops. That's what you have. So that's what you're buying. And that's the history of Topps baseball cards. And I love them all. They all have their own thing. Like, they were talking about the 61, and it has a lot of just faces with no hats and stuff like that, like the Ernie Banks and the Harmon Killebrew and the Willie Mays, for example. Uh, I like that Willie Mays. I like that Willie Mays. I like the Ernie Banks. But that was 61. So you had Roger Maris breaking the record there. You had, a number of rookie cards, Juan Marichal and Matty Alou and Joe, not Joe Torre, Ron Santo and Willie Davis and Tommy Davis, and there's a number of rookies in there. And then being from Pittsburgh, that was the year after Bill Mazeroski's walk-off home run in the World Series. So you have all the World Series cards there, which are fabulous. And then you have those what were those highlights cards with Babe Ruth and Don Larson's perfect game and Lou Gehrig, and so it has a lot to offer. I like the 61 set.
Yeah, like I find that show entertaining, especially with Chris. Chris is my favorite part of it because his dry humor is the best. I mean, between Mookie Chilson's comments and Chris live, that's must watch on YouTube. But um but the thing is, like, when they start ragging on a set or bringing it down just because they want to bust someone's chops because they put it up high or something, I'm a little bit like you. Like the 61 set, I like it. There's like Orlando Cepeda. I think that's one of my favorite cards of
Oh
his.
yeah, that's a great card. How about
Yeah,
the Veda Pinson? That
yeah,
card's fabulous, where he's like warming up with the bat behind his head.
exactly.
Beautiful card. The
And,
Clemente is beautiful card.
Wilhelm has a gorgeous card in there too.
Yeah.
Um, he's like showing the ball.
And then they have the tough to get all-stars. Those are tough. That's a tough little subset. Well, it's not a subset, it's part of the set, but those are tough to put together.
And they were saying that they liked how the all-star design is. That's probably one of the best ones because it was like in your face, like none of them were like that,
Yeah.
I mean, 58 is probably great, like probably one of the best, but I think 61 is up there too.
It's a beautiful mantle, and the All-Star is a beautiful mantle too. That was Mantle Maris time, and they both have All-Star cards and regular cards, and I just it's if you force me to pick, is that my favorite set of all time? No, but I don't know if I have a favorite set of all time. They all have something different to offer,
Yeah, that's the thing, that's how I think also. Like, as much as I might not like a certain set, I'll always find something I like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go through, you'll see a card and say, oh, well, that's not my favorite card of him, but that's part of the set. That's the way it was made.
Right. I mean, the burlap one is one that people don't care for so much.
I love the 68 set. Are you kidding me?
Well, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying that there's a lot.
Chris from Missouri said he couldn't tell the difference between the 62 and the 68. I was laughing. I'm like, I said he must be smoking the same stuff the PSA graders smoke because, I mean, one's a wood grain and one's burlap and one has like the little corner coming up, on the wood grain. I don't know. I've never, since I was a kid, I've never confused those.
Well, one thing I have noticed is certain sets, regardless of like their design or anything that they got going for it, I started noticing that the rookie class tends to like shift me towards that set for some reason.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were like that because the hobby is so rookie heavy. So much emphasis on the rookies. And when you have a set where there's not a lot of rookies, it's always sold for less money. Oh, well, it's sold for this because there's no good rookies in there, that kind of thing.
And we got another misfit here. We got to bring up Rick.
Vintage flipper oddball cards here.
Hey, Rick, glad you could take time from your flipping responsibilities. We appreciate it.
I've been buying, man.
What are you buying?
I'm just trying to fill in the Hall of Famers I don't have in the 50s and 60s. They're dirt cheap.
I know.
They're dirt cheap.
Unless they're in a 10, they're cheap. A 9 or 10.
Yeah. We were talking about sets and discussing, well, someone posed a question to John, what's the oldest set that he's completed? I know you don't really complete sets, right, John? I mean, Rick, sorry.
I have a few sets, but no. I'm kind of building actually the T205 set.
Oh, really?
There's only a couple hundred cards, so it's not like it's that difficult. There's really, the minor leaguers are a little tough. I think there's like 7 to 10 minor leaguers, and the Eddie Joss is expensive, but it's not.
That's what I was just talking about, the Eddie Joss.
It's doable.
What's funny is I have the Eddie Joss, so maybe You're talking
all right, flip a coin to see which one you're going to send it to. Rick, you want heads or tails?
It wouldn't suit your collection, though. You guys are big ballers, man.
Come on.
What grade
at this point, I'd like
What's
any
it look like? What's it look
like? Let me go grab it for you.
Come on, Rick, let's fight for it.
Yeah, just like the Mare Show, right?
Right.
Where's that thing? Right here.
There it is. I'm glad you didn't flip it.
No, I'm going to keep this.
My label looks better.
Yeah, that's true.
There aren't too many of these. Do you know what the pops are on these? I didn't look them up.
No. I bought for like $20. I bought like 6 or 7 of them, the commons in the set. So I have the.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the. I have what are the three rookies basically, because Dusty Rhodes, he was at the end of his career. So Jose Pagan and Matty Alou.
Do you have the Danny O'Connell? Remember I text you?
Yeah, I don't even know who Danny O'Connell is.
Yeah, he played in the major leagues, but I think you have his card graded. You sure you don't have it?
Danny O'Connell?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with him, honestly.
Because I remember
when was his rookie card?
Now we're talking 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, and I showed you my Danny O'Connell, and I think you took yours. It was graded.
Who did he play? He played for the Giants?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think he was like 4 or 5 years in the major leagues, but he was in that set. You sure you don't have it?
Well, I don't have it in that set. His rookie card was in 61 then?
Yeah, but I mean in that set, the minor league set.
Oh, no. I definitely don't have it. You might be thinking of the Matty Alou.
Maybe.
That's the only graded one I have.
All right.
All right, guys. I don't know if you could see it.
Shit, that's a big time grade there, man.
What are you talking about? That's right within your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
what's the grade on that?
For me? How much?
A
4. That's big time money there. I'm looking like a 1.5 or 2.
That's
how much? How much? What's it going for?
I don't know what it's going for. They don't sell too often.
Let's have a break.
A break?
Yeah, Rick and I will each throw in $500 and pick a name.
That's not gonna cut it, man. You guys are killing me here. Oh, Rick, I showed. I
don't know. It looked off center, and it's an old slab. It's not worth anything.
I showed John earlier. Do you know who Hugh Nichols is?
Not Hugh Nichols. No.
That's one pickup I had last week. He has an all-time single season stolen base record of 138. And
I hadn't heard of him either.
I can't believe both of y'all didn't hear of him.
No,
well, how many
I wrote it down
in that
though.
Set like 500.
That's a monster right there. Just one player. There's like 13 cards sometimes.
It's so funny because they didn't even have that many teams back then.
I know they had so many variations of players.
I know.
Insane.
Hey, by the way, you need to come down on that Addy Joss because that's an after playing days card. It's not even a playing days card. That's like an all-time great.
And the T205 said there's a lot of after playing days cards. I think you definitely another one.
Oh, well, was he coaching at the time?
I think he was coaching at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice card.
How did you pick that up? Where did you pick that up at?
Which one? The Addy Joss?
Addy Joss.
You remember that? I think it was the
Did you pick it up from the old guy? You picked it up from the old guy. That's right. You offered it to me. I should have bought it then. Dang it.
Well, unfortunately, there's a tariff on Addy Joss, so that sucker's like way high now.
Oh man. I think I don't even know what you paid for it, but somehow I'm thinking it was $300-400 or something.
No, are you kidding me?
No, what you bought for, or something like that. 500? I don't even know, but it was cheap. It was for that card in the grade. It was a steal.
It was 4 figures.
Was it really?
Yeah. What's that go for? That goes for like around 1,500, right?
A 4?
I think a beater like a 1.5 goes like $700.
Yeah. I mean, they don't sell a lot. You don't see them go up a lot.
But I think around 700 you can find one that's presentable in a 1.5.
Well, that's the thing about the T205. I mean, they're so much harder to find than T206s. You can find T206s all day. Now, not the rare backs or, some of the cards, but the T205s, I mean, you don't see them all that often. I mean, go search for Johnny Evers. That card's so hard to find, surprisingly.
Yeah.
You go on eBay, you might have 1 or 2.
Yeah, Johnny Evers is a tough one.
I have
man.
Johnny Evers.
I have it too, but I'm just saying it's a tough one to find.
Oh, he's wearing the shirt. How appropriate.
Yeah.
Look at that. I just found out
one of the greatest cards ever made right there.
You know what I found out recently? That for the T205 set, that Christy Mathewson was overproduced.
I can believe that because you see a lot of them.
Yeah, he was such a big star when that set came out. They produced like 4 times the amount than they did for Cy Young and Ty Cobb.
I definitely can believe that because you see that card all the time. Like I said, but you don't see cards like the Evers.
That's right. Let's see if I can.
And you don't see the Ty Cobb that often, or the Tris Speaker
picture up there.
Walter Johnson. I don't see a lot of Walter Johnsons.
Yeah, Walter Johnson's a tough one. But I found that out was because someone that really researched the T205 set, he was putting it together. We showed him a nice Christy Mathewson, and he was like, "Oh, that card's everywhere." We looked at him like, "What?" He was like, so he gave us a little tutorial and told us how overproduced that card was, and we had no clue. He says, Cy Young, Ty Cobb, when you see those, pick those up because those were not produced as much. He says,
yeah, I mean, probably half of YouTube at least has that Mathewson. I know I do, and Rick does.
Well, he keeps flipping them too. That's how he keeps his whole collection going.
Do you still have that one, Rick?
Sure I do. I'm building a set, you goofball.
I thought you traded it for some 1950s cards.
I gotta get those Mag Pros.
I find it hard to believe you don't have the Hall of Famers from the 50s. I find that shocking.
Not all of them.
Who don't you have? Do you have a Clemente card?
Yeah.
I
don't know. I have to go through the list. I don't have all of them. I don't have all of them.
Well, I know you have McCovey, Mays, and Cepeda. I know you have those.
Yeah, I got the full run of those.
You have Hoyt Wilhelm?
We should they do that Mike and Chris do that showdown, and I think we should do our own. We should do a ungraded showdown.
All right, let's do it. Or cover the grade.
Or no grade at all.
We could do the match game.
Yeah, here's another card I picked up at the show last weekend. The Old Mills.
Oh yeah, I don't have one from that set because I don't know any of the players other than Joe Jackson, and I don't think I can afford that one.
This guy I know nothing about, but the guy had nothing but Houston collectibles in his Pelican case, and this happened to be in there, and I picked it up. So it's my first Old Mill. And like you, same thing. I don't know who the heck he is, but I just thought it was real cool, and he sold it to me for so little I couldn't refuse it.
Yeah, I have one set I picked up because I'm trying to get one card from every set. And it's a tough set. And it was an Italian player, so I just went with him, and it was cool looking. From the Kisses. Hey, Stu, what are the cards called for the Kisses?
That's tough.
It's an oversized card, but they're very scarce. They're a very tough set to get. Something Kisses.
I'll show you something I picked up recently, but I'm going to do a video on it when I get a chance. It's called it's from 1889, I believe. It's called 835s. I'm gonna go grab those.
835s. You know that? I don't know all the numbers off the top of my head.
No, I can't even. I know T206, T205. But when people go, in 153 or some kind of thing, that's I can't remember any of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to remember T206, T205, T207, but I don't know them by their numbers all the time off the top of my head. Yeah. I know them by their names
because there's no rhyme or reason half the time. Why?
I mean, I can. Do you know why that is?
Why?
Do you know why that is?
Why?
because he did them in the order that he checklisted them.
So like
that's why T2
so a
T206
T206 he checklisted a T206 and that's the how he checklisted.
Yeah, so T206 came out before T205, but he checklisted the T205 first.
Okay, so I didn't know
and
that.
that's why the numbers aren't in order. And the T designation, everybody thinks it stands for tobacco, but it doesn't. It stands for 20th century tobacco. The 19th century tobacco is an N for 19th century tobacco.
All right.
So and the R cards, this is funny because he wrote that book in the 1930s. So when you see the old R's, that actually stands for recent, because it was recent for him when he wrote the book.
So check this out. You see these guys right here? They're from 1889. Let me blow it up so you can see it.
Oh,
so these are from the A35 sets, the Goodwin company. And I have to research this stuff. There's hardly anything on this set, but they used to come in a disc, and I guess you were able to punch them out. And in the back, you'll see all the stats that the back had for them. And I almost have the whole complete set. I'm missing one disc that had Tim Keefe and a few other guys in it, but every disc had like 4 players in it, and they're like really cool. So they had St. Louis, I think the Boston Bean Eaters, and another team. I can't remember which one it is. But the little bit that I was able to research in it, it was like 3 teams that were celebrated. And they got sharp images of all the players.
They have the names on the back, or
on the disc it has the names.
The disc. Oh, I got you.
Those are cool.
So, yeah, and I mean I have a ton of them that I haven't showed you yet. And then the best part is then they have a disc dedicated to 4 Hall of Famers. And that's over here, which I'll show you in a second. So let me blow it up one more time. Here's one of them.
Okay, I've seen those before.
Yeah, so you probably saw it all whole like this.
Yeah.
So these were punched out. And this is King Kelly.
Nice.
And then the big kahuna out of all of them is Cap Anson.
Do you have a Delahanty? Ed Delahanty?
I don't know. I'm telling you, I dove into it for about like 10, 20 minutes, and it was late and I had to quit. There was but so much researching time I had so far to get into this.
You need to find me an Ed Delahanty.
Yeah, if one of them is in there, it could be yours possibly, but I just found this to be so amazing, like really cool. Orlando wants the King Kelly. This is officially my first Cap Anson from playing days from 1889.
Now, how were those distributed?
In a disc. So the disc
what do you mean
is made for it to be an album, and then you were given a ring, and there's a hole in the album that you punched out the disc. I mean. And then you put the ring through it, and then the 2 covers was a ball, and that was supposed to be the covers to the album. And sandwiched between all the balls were like 12 of these discs. So you have the 4 Hall of Famers, and then you had like 8 other ones, which was 4 each of these players. Now this set is incomplete. It's missing the Tim Keefe one, which I wish I had because it's the biggest disc with the small guys in it. But I mean, I got 95% of it, so I can't complain.
Tim Keefe was one of the best, probably best 2 pitchers of that era, right?
Yeah,
him and Clarkson. And then one of the really good pitchers from that era is not even in the Hall of Fame. Bob Carruthers.
Yeah, I think Carruthers is in here. I think.
Yeah, he was I mean, look up his stats and everything. He was a good pitcher.
Yeah, so that's the A35, the Goodwin and Company.
Those are
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah, and there's not a lot. Like the pop counts are like 1 or 2, or the highest is probably like 4 or something. And they're usually like 1, like because they punched out the hole for the ring, it can't get higher than a 1.
Right. There's a number of sets like that. The Overland candies like that, because they're the candy wrapper.
Right.
Which I love. Then I don't have to worry about the freaking number.
Right. So I'm gonna research a little more, so I don't sound dumb when I make a video on it. But
hey, Rick, we have another set to chase. like we need more.
I've never seen the little ones though. I've never seen the little ones before.
Yeah, the little ones they're almost like army men, almost, where you could set them up.
Yeah, those are so cool too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of detail. Like they even have the mascot. Let me show you the mascot. So this is from the Giants. The mascot for the Giants. I'm covering up his face.
What is the mascot? Weren't their mascots just like boys?
Yeah, like they would help out
like
with
that boy
and give the balls. But I think that's Rick when he was young.
Right? Mascots go for big money, man. If you have any kind of mascot card, they always go for big money.
He's too old to have been Rick.
I saw that the Cap Anson sold for $3,500 in a 1 recently. That I saw.
I thought you said they were all 1s.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know the grade it was, but it sold for $3,500. So they're quite pricey. These obviously are authentic.
Now, if you give that to Kurt, can he fill that hole in so that you can get a 10?
I'm gonna dip it and see if it comes back into a disc. Look at that. Somebody said Willie Breslin is the mascot. There you go. He helped me with my research already.
Scott knows his stuff, man.
It's amazing what people know. Who said that?
Scott.
Stuke.
Oh, of course, Stuke. Hey, Stuke, did he tell me what that Kisses card is? I'm gonna have to go look if he doesn't know it.
You gotta tell.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. Baseball Kisses, or what the heck's it called? I gotta go get it.
Yeah, so I was like over the moon when they presented me to that to buy. I just was like, heck yeah, name your price. I want it. Like I've never seen that before. Like,
now, are you going to be selling that, or are you keeping that in your collection?
I don't know. I mean, dude, I can't take it with me. I can't leave it for my son. That's all you need to know. Is like some of it I enjoy having for a while, but I'm not gonna.
It's all for sale.
I'm not gonna leave my wife with all this stuff, man. It'll burden her.
Well, I mean, you're acting like you're gonna die tomorrow. You're still a young man.
No, but my point is, you just never know when you're gonna go, man. I would hate to leave her a whole room full of cards.
I don't worry about burdening anybody with anything. I mean, if they don't want them, they can burn them.
Yeah, right. What? You roll over 3 times in your grave. What are you talking about?
I'd come back and haunt anybody.
He's going to buy one of those big U-Hauls and bury himself in the U-Haul and a big old grave.
That's what I always told everybody.
In the U-Haul.
That's what's currently in my will.
Hey, Rick, who you leaving your collection to if things happen?
Well, I have a son that he can figure out what to do with it.
Does he like baseball?
He doesn't collect cars, but he loves baseball, sports in general. So,
does he have my number and address?
Orlando said to give my wife his contact. Oh man! So your team is rocking and rolling there, Rick.
I know, 5-1, baby.
You got the Helio Ramos. No one can get him out.
Telling you.
Now, is that unexpected, Rick, or did you expect them to be?
I didn't expect them to do jack, but the pitching is pretty good. They have Verlander. They got Webb, and they got Ray. Ray was a pitcher for, I think, Tampa Bay or Toronto, somewhere in the American League. He 2 times he tore up his elbow. He was a Cy Young winner, and he's back now, and he's pitching great. So Webb, Verlander, and Ray. Mm-hmm. And then we got a couple young guys that are really big time prospects. So we just can't hit. We play defense, we can't hit.
Matt Chapman is also a godsend. He's hitting like the lights out.
You know what? Until he gets on your team and you watch him every day, what a great defensive third baseman. That guy is fantastic. Yeah. He saves so many runs. He strikes out half the time, has some power, probably bats about 250, 260, but his defense saves him.
You had a rookie third baseman I was really high on, and I think he came in second for Rookie of the Year behind Chris. Chris, what's his name for Chicago?
Chris Bryant.
Yes, thank you, Chris Bryant. Because when he first came up, he was fantastic. But you had Duffy.
Oh yeah, Matt Duffy.
He was whatever happened to him?
He flamed out in the American League, I think.
He looked really good when he came up. And isn't he the one that got hit three times with the ball in 3 different ways, running the bases? And isn't he the one?
I don't know.
He got 3 or 4 times. Who knows? I think he's the one that got hit with the ball. Every time he would run a base, somebody would throw it and hit him with it. And he got hit like 3 or 4 times in one game.
That's the oddity right there.
I think he's the one. Some of these guys come up and they look like they're going to be so good, or they have a fantastic season, and then you just don't hear about them again. Chris Bryant looked like he was going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
Jose Abreu, when he came up, man, he was unreal.
Yeah, I remember when Goldschmidt came up. Man, was he great with Arizona. And then he had a little low, but then he picked it back up with the Cardinals, won the MVP, and then he sucked last year. So I'm hoping he pans out with the Yankees and has like at least another year or 2 left in him, because he's so good when he's good.
Arenado is another one.
Oh, Arenado.
Both those guys kill the Giants over the years.
Arenado's a surefire Hall of Famer, though, in my eyes.
He's really good. He had a little bit of an off year last year for him, but the other one was, how about Christian Yelich? I mean, he was on fire. He hasn't really been doing anything lately.
No, but he had a back procedure done over the winter, and he's saying he feels like a new man now because of it.
Good. I hope he gets back to form.
Right. So they couldn't get him right after 2019 when he hurt himself. And it took, I guess, 5 years for him to finally decide to get that surgery. But it might revive his career because he was so great for almost.
After that MVP season, he really didn't do anything.
But even in 2019, before he went down, he was going to win back-to-back MVPs. And then he went down the last month. Yeah, he was so good.
Yeah, Verlander, man. That guy. He's, 42 now or something like that? That guy's still throwing 95, 96, consistently.
Yeah.
Consistently. He's unbelievable.
His longevity is unbelievable, because you look at, that's what, Nolan Ryan too, for how hard he threw. Because most of the guys that you see like that, like Charlie Huff, are throwing knucklers or, those kinds of pitches. How old was Charlie Huff when he finally retired? He was old.
Right.
Isn't he? Wasn't he the oldest pitcher to win a game?
I think so. Either him or Cologne, one of the two. Big Sexy.
And then who was he playing for? Was it the Florida Marlins? They're the only expansion team to win their opening game.
Dang.
And he was their pitcher because he was throwing that knuckler.
Jake just said he was Rick's age. Jeez.
I remember Charlie Huff. Didn't he come up with the Dodgers?
I'm not positive who he came up with. He played for a lot of teams. I remember him with Texas.
I'm curious whether Max Scherzer is gonna have one last good year in him. Doesn't seem like it, right?
I don't know. I haven't been watching him lately, but another great pitcher.
I think Verlander's like 35, 36 wins from
300.
the big, So I don't know. He might be able to make it. I don't know.
Well, if he can hold up, he's our last hope for a 300 game winner because he'll be the last. I mean,
like
Kershaw is not even close.
Short.
Oh, Jake just said Scherzer is injured. Well, that's why I didn't draft him, Jake. I had the most points in my fantasy league in Jake's league last week. So I think I got lucky with my draft finally. I drafted a few good players, but I'm there with Lou Rock, Jake, Dom. A few guys are still in there. I almost bowed out this year, but I still gutted it out one more year, and I think I might have a chance to make some noise this year.
Well, I played in that league last year. They're like, "You want to play?" I have never played fantasy baseball in my life, and had no clue what I was doing. Didn't know. Well, first, I didn't even know I could substitute. Once the week started or whatever, because I've only ever played fantasy football. And Lou's like, "You got to see, and you got to substitute. You got to do this and that." I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't have time for this every day."
Mm-hmm. Look at Chris jumping on late. What did I miss? We were talking about you, Chris, man.
Strongsville's been canceled. Didn't you get the memo?
The whole town shut down.
We were talking about how he can't tell the difference from 62 and 68.
Yeah, man. What's up with that, Chris?
I know, right? You want to explain yourself? Oh man, what's
John,
one
going to Strongsville?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably.
You still undecided? It's a week away.
I'm a man of leisure, man. I don't like to make these decisions too early.
I am not going to Strongsville myself, man. I want to go, but I can't do it.
Well, you don't have to go set up. You could just come, hang out.
It's not to set up. It's just you got to make out time to go to Strongsville from where I'm at. Like, it's not just a quick little.
I'm getting my hotel so late. I might be staying in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, that's how far out I'll have to go.
Somebody said that Jamie Moyer was the oldest pitcher to win a game.
Jamie Moyer?
With
how old?
That was with Seattle, right? When Jamie Moyer did it?
Man, I could swear it was Charlie Huff.
Wow.
He was the oldest pitcher to do something.
Probably win with a knuckleball or something. Oldest knuckleball pitcher. Yeah, I want to go.
I'll have to look that up.
I want to go to Strongsville because I heard it's like, 85% vintage and pre-war out there.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
Probably
they have modern cards there?
They probably have Pokemon for you, John.
I don't know the first thing about Pokemon. All I know is Charizard.
And Pikachu.
I have no idea what he does or what he is or anything.
So, yeah, it seems like everyone's loving the thought of going to Strongsville.
Whatever happened to Magic the Gathering? Is that still popular? Because I don't hear about that anymore. I just hear about Pokemon.
Yeah, no, Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! I think those two kind of fell off. Pikachu just stayed hot.
Pokemon's blowing up. PSA's getting all kind of submissions, and you're starting to see card channels starting to do Pokemon stuff. Have you noticed that? and more Pokemon at the shows and stores.
I just found out PSA is gonna start grading comics.
Yeah,
And
I heard that.
yeah, they're throwing their hat in the ring
And
for
magazines like Beckett's and stuff, right?
yeah. And
Because I can't have my Beckett's if they're not in a slab. I mean, how do you read them after they slab them? You know what comic people do is they buy 2 copies, one to grade and one to read.
right. I mean, I can't imagine slabbing up that Sports Illustrated. I want to enjoy looking back at the times, how things were back then,
Well, the book collecting has been a big deal, and getting first editions of some of those books are worth a fortune. They've never slabbed them.
Could you imagine? That's interesting. You would slab a comic, but you wouldn't slab a first edition.
Yeah, well, not everybody's brainwashed to slab everything. I'm going to slab my kitchen appliances.
You got to slab your couch.
Slab my car.
Remember when couches had the plastic?
Oh, yeah.
And it would make all that noise.
John, that's a good video. Just plastic the whole thing and put PSA and put a grade on it, your couch.
Just slab everything, man. Slab everything up.
Slab your refrigerator. You won't be able to eat.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll post some obscure stuff. Not anymore. I used to, and on like Facebook, and people would be like, "Oh, that's cool. Does PSA grade that? Does PSA grade that?" No, they don't grade it. Oh, I won't want it then.
Yeah. So Orlando's saying that Strongsville is 95% vintage. That would be a blast. I mean, the National is like what? Maybe 60% vintage?
Hell, I don't even think it's that now.
No?
I don't think so. What do you think, Rick?
I think it's 60%.
You do?
Yeah. Atlantic City. I think Atlantic City was 60%.
But
the year before,
30% are breakers.
Cleveland was about 60%, I think.
They had their own room.
So now, between the National, how big and expansive it is, Strongsville is a lot, what, like half of that?
Half?
I've never, yeah.
It's
Have you been there?
Hockey rink.
It's what?
A hockey rink. It's inside a hockey. Right? Yeah, hockey rink.
So it's huge then.
Huge.
Do you need skates to get around?
Everybody's slipping slabs.
What's nice about Strongsville is that, you go to one table. Years ago, let's say at a National, they would have all the vintage in one section, so you could, and then the modern somewhere over there and this, that. In the last few years, you would have some vintage over here. Another room would be more vintage, and it's all spread out. But Strongsville, it's just all right there because it's all vintage.
Yeah.
Do you notice that, John? When you went to Chicago, wasn't it pretty? Was just well.
Oh, it was and they had multiple rooms. It's like overwhelming. And in Cleveland, you had that one room that was mostly vintage, but then they had vintage everywhere else too.
But in the old days, before John showed up at these Nationals, it was all one, right? James, remember just in Chicago years ago, it'd just be one section. Right when you walked in, 90% of the vintage or pre-war was in one area.
Is that right?
You could pretty much. Now it's all spread out, it seems like.
Yeah, and you would go to the far right from when you walked in, and it was like another little room in there. Even though it looked like it was the same arena or something, you knew that was like mainly modern.
Yeah.
And then you would make your way to the right, and they got a little mixed over there. But now they got the second floor. I didn't even know they had the second floor 2 years ago. And I found that out recently. I'm like, they had a second floor? What? So supposedly the second floor is like jam-packed now. Like they put so many tables in there. So I don't even know what to expect. Like how much tables there are.
Well, now. I went to that what do they call it? The Northeast National in New York with Sammy Thunder. And we had walked the place all day long. And then I don't know how we found out, but they had a whole nother room downstairs, and they didn't promote it or anything. Like I would have walked out and never known it because you had to like go where the stairs were. There was no sign or anything, and I kind of felt bad for those dealers because when you went down there, there was very little traffic. You had to know it was there.
Right. That sucks. I mean, you got to promote it. You got to put signs, like, or maybe give a map out to people so they know there's certain areas that they haven't gone to. They'll go there. And it sucks because maybe people have good stuff down there, and you were looking for something you couldn't find, and that guy had it all along.
Yeah, I ended up buying a few things down there too. They had some good stuff down there, but I almost walked out and missed it.
Yeah. Dang. Well, anything else we want to talk about, guys? We've been on for an hour and a half.
I think I'm good.
Yeah,
Rick?
good. Rick?
I'm good.
Any flipping topics?
Well, it's tax season, right? I was hit hard in our little text thread. I was kicked where the sun doesn't shine, man.
Me too, Rick. I got and I had just gotten a really great card, and then I get the tax bill, and I'm like, this sucks.
Brutal.
They get you one way or another.
I know, man.
All right, then. So I guess we had a quicker hobby hump day, I guess, because we didn't have guests today. But yeah, the last few were like 2 hours and change. So maybe it's good to give a few people a break today.
Yeah. Hey, James, I think it was a good conversation. It was just fun talking cards. This is what our phone calls are like.
Yeah. All right, guys. So hopefully we'll be back next week with another hobby hump day. Thanks, Rick, for coming on. You know, eventually, better late than never.
There we go.
And John, as always, a regular on the hobby hump day. Guys, thank you for joining us. We'll hope to be in next week. Until then, keep collecting, guys.
See you, everyone.
All righty.